So today, well, first off, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone joining us from all around the world. Today, talking about the pound dollar, quite a interesting position it is at right now. I'll show you the chart straight away before I get into my analysis. The pound dollar on the H4 time frame, it's resisted at 1.3870. Through this couple of days for this week, we've seen it retrace back down, possibly towards that 13747 level. Not quite hitting that level at this point, but coming very close. I think that this would be a good opportunity for some trading to happen, especially given what is likely to happen or not happen with the ECB news to be released tomorrow, and then also with some strength gaining from the US dollar at this point. Coming back to the news, what could push the pound dollar in either direction? Here, checking out the forextradingasia.com economic calendar. I'll just scroll up a bit. Today being Wednesday, we don't have much pound news or any pound news at all. Traders Club members, watch out in the platform. I will be doing a quick video in particular for the BOC rate statement, showing you a trade idea that I've been stalking for a while right now. Later tonight, we do have the UK inflation report hearings. One thing to take note at this point is an inflation report hearing is quite crucial towards a central banker making their decision on further QE tapering or further interest rates decision, because inflation is about the speed of growth in the overall economy. So pay attention to that. I don't think this news would bring about any clear direction in terms of where the pound dollar could be heading, but because it is approaching that support level of 13747, I think we're going to see quite a bit of volatility at that support level. So this is something to pay attention to tonight at 11 GMT plus 8. Following on from that, Thursday, we do have a lot of news from the Chinese, and then after that, the Eurozone as well. We've talked about the Eurozone numbers before, but then your attention for the pound dollar, if you're trading that, should shift to Friday, where we do have the GDP number to be released at 1400 hours. Was 0.8. There is expectation that it might be at about a 0.5. I think that we might see a 0.8 number, or maybe even slightly better. So why I think it might be slightly better is we've seen, despite the situation with the virus, despite Delta, despite all the things, the UK economy has been opening up. We've seen more activity. We've seen them actually being quite positive in terms of activity and opening up the economy. So in terms of the month-on-month GDP number, I think that despite a expectation of about 0.5, we might see a 0.8 or even a 0.9. I wouldn't be too surprised even if it comes out at a 1%. So with that, my expectation might be some upside in the pound dollar driven by the GDP number. And then after that, we have the GDP year on year. As a trader, I'm not too concerned about the year on year number because that is relatively longer time frame. And then GDP number changed on quarter on quarter at about 4.8%, looking like a very good number. And not a lot of other news for the UK. Following on from that, we do have some US PPI numbers, not a big price change at this point, and then the Canadian employment change or employment data. So with all that, what to look out for in terms of the pound dollar, what you should be gathering here is that we have inflation report later today. Expect the volatility. We do have the GDP numbers to be released on Friday. Possible some upside on the pound dollar. So this translates to, on the H4 time frame here, pound dollar looking like it might come down, test this 137.47 level with that volatility from inflation report hearing today. So I'll move that a little bit nearer. And then on Friday, I think that it will sit there, bounce around this support level, test it. But on Friday, if we do see that good GDP number coming from the UK, we could see that bounce back up again. With that bounce back up, I don't think it'd be an immediate buying opportunity. I think you should be a little bit, look for some safety at that point. Maybe look to buy at about above 1.37464, above 1.3764. You could be looking at a 20-30 pip stop loss for a good 90 pip take profit level towards the upside. That's a 1:3 risk reward ratio towards the upside, towards that resistance of 138.70. This is also with the expectation that there's a strong pound GDP number, and also that there's no surprises coming from the US, giving it significant strength. If we do see significant strength from the dollar, then we could see it break lower. But I think that with the way the dollar has been doing, I'll show you the dollar index again. We've seen that bounce back up. I think this is a bit of a retracement before possibly coming back down to test at 92 level again. We've seen that bounce back up as Scott was sharing with you. I think that we might see it as a retracement before some testing of 92 again. So that might actually mean that it might play quite nicely for the pound dollar to test 137.47. What I didn't do yesterday was look at the euro pound. So if you expect the pound dollar to come down and test before bouncing back up, expecting the pound dollar to go up, coming back to the euro pound, we could anticipate that as pound dollar climbs, the euro pound could be tracking back lower. Another reason why I think that the euro pound could be tracking lower, as I zoom in a bit so it's easier to see, you see that big tail, that big rejection of that 86 level. So 86 is about there. You see that big rejection of the 86 level because of this one candle. So I think that we might actually see it test that 85.80. And if I zoom out again, test that 85.80. And if it does break because of the pound dollar tracking higher, we could see it break lower, right? So at that point, what you could be looking for is selling opportunities below 85.75. You could be a very tight stop loss of, even 20 pips, the take profit of 20, 30, 40 pips here towards the downside, but you're looking at, it needs to break below that point before you could see the 85.38 support level being tested again. As the pound dollar climbs, what you also need to see for this euro pound to track lower, to break that support and track lower, would be for the euro dollar to move down towards that 1.1766 level, as we spoke about yesterday, right? So very briefly, we looked at the pound dollar, we looked at the euro pound and the euro dollar as well. What I want to do is a quick preview about what I will be talking about tomorrow. The US yen, we've already seen from my analysis last week that it came down, tested that 109.76, tracking up towards that red line of 110.33. At this point right now, it's going to be quite interesting. A couple of trade ideas to be shared with you tomorrow, but that's all I'm going to be telling you. To make sure you tune back in tomorrow.